know what's coming?
Not really. The one thing we know, and you asked Russ Vought about this, was he says that the process is too bipartisan right now, meaning that they want to use this process just to ram through the agenda. And the overall agenda we saw when they passed the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which was beautiful for billionaires, but not really for anybody else, which is to provide tax cuts for very wealthy people at the expense of everybody else. And I do want to say, Margaret, I heard him deny that bill increased the deficit and debt. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office just said it increased our debt by $3.5 trillion before added interest.
He's using an accounting gimmick in regard to the benchmark.
And Republicans have called out this accounting gimmick. So when they
But it was accepted.
Well, they sort of unilaterally imposed it. Was not accepted by Democrats,
Right.
And it was a departure from previous efforts. But then they come back and they say that they want to cut these important programs, NIH and other things, to reduce the deficit, when in fact what they're doing it for is to help try finance those tax cuts for very wealthy people.
So it's just heading us towards pretty uncharted territory and very unclear whether we will be able to avoid a government shutdown. Democrats are going to be blamed if there's a shutdown. Don't you think? I mean, how do you sidestep this?
We certainly don't want a government shutdown. And I think everybody has heard Russ Vought say that they want a less bipartisan process. What that tells me is they're willing just to use their powers to try to shut down the government if they don't get their way. And what's ironic about this, Margaret, is you have Russ Vought, calling for these deep cuts to education, NIH, when he has asked for an increase for his OMB budget. He asked for a 13% increase for his OMB budget. He's asked for more people to join the OMB staff while he's talking about riffing people at other departments, like the Department of, getting rid of, firing people at the Department of, Veterans Affairs and other important priorities. So it's hard to take the OMB director seriously when he says that they didn't increase the debt and when he says he wants to cut things, except for his own budget and staff.
But if they do head towards a government shutdown, why would there be any benefit unless it is to prioritize funding certain agencies and deprioritizing other agencies?
Well,
because that goes back to the executive, doesn't it, that authority?
Well, that ultimately, though, you need, for example, 4 Republican senators to stand behind what he's calling for. And what they've called for is sort of just a double cross on the process, right? That's what the so-called rescissions is, just a Washington name for double cross. They support one thing one day, the president even signs off, and then they come back and say they changed their mind. And what we're asking is for 4 Republican senators just to publicly declare that when they say they're going to fund the Veterans Affairs Department, that they actually mean it.
That they won't later agree to claw that money back.
Exactly.
Right.